So in this season of Lent, we look at three main areas, as we've mentioned a couple of times: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. And I think sometimes, or very often in our faith, we have to come to a new understanding of terms that we're used to hearing. Like in society, we hear the word love all the time, but love, as it's understood in society today, is very often devoid of its very heart. Right? The very heart of love is self-sacrifice. That's the heart of love. The heart of love is not pleasure. The heart of love is not butterflies. The heart of love is not even sexual attraction. That's not the heart of love at all. The heart of love is self-sacrifice. So often we have to rediscover terms that we already knew, words that we've already heard a million times, but the understanding of them has kind of skewed off some direction. So when it comes to prayer as well, I think very, very often we have to re-understand or relearn what prayer means. When I was a child, wonderful and all as the various trips to Knock were on various bouncy buses, because wherever you are in the country, you're at least 3 hours away from Knock, regardless of if you know, it just doesn't matter where you live. You're always at least 3 hours from Knock. And then back in the day, like before the new bypass went in, you'd be bouncing up through the Midlands, up through Athlone, and burr, and you know, you bounced your way to Knock, and then on the way up, you'd pray, at least 3 rosaries, maybe more. And then on the way down, at least 3 rosaries, maybe more. And for me as a child, that used to actually drive me crazy. I'm sorry, but it was just too much. It was just too much. It was too much. And then, because I wanted to talk to people. I talked to other young people there, and that I had nothing against prayer. It was just too much. And then I kind of grew up with an almost slight resentment towards this prayer. I think I've told this story before as well, where my mom was given a book by a friend of hers on Garabandal, and she read it, and it frightened the life out of her. And ever since then, we prayed the family rosary every evening. I can't remember when that was probably 88, 89 or something. I was 9 or 10 anyway. I was pretty young. So then we started praying the family rosary. But we had a certain kind of a rhythm in our family as regards meals and TV, and one fixed point was always the 9 o'clock news, which had to be religiously watched by my folks. I mean, I'm not sure if it's still a thing these days, but the 9 o'clock news, like everything had to be done by the 9 o'clock news. And then I don't think it was for family viewing really, it was just more for mom and dad. They'd sit down, they'd watch the 9 o'clock news and see what was happening in the world, and see the weather forecast, of course, very important for my dad. So everything, the rosary had to be done by 9 o'clock, but all of my programs, everything that I wanted to see was at 8 o'clock, right? So it would go on from 8 until 9, like MacGyver. MacGyver was always on 8 o'clock. So I saw years of half episodes of MacGyver. So he'd get into the most contorted problems and situations where he'd be up in a tower that's on fire and there's a missile coming towards it, and I never, ever discovered how he got out. Never. No idea, because we had to pray the rosary. So I had this kind of this view of prayer that was quite negative, if I'm honest. Like prayer was like, no, it has to be done, but it's going to cost you fun. It's going to cost you good company. It's a duty. And I never understood that prayer could be life-giving. I never understood that prayer is actually so much more than I knew as a child. And even as a priest now, every now and again you come across some quotation from a saint or just some experience that you might have yourself in the chapel, and you realize, my goodness, my prayer life there's still so much more to discover. There's still so much more to so much of the Lord's heart to be revealed. You're having a profound moment of prayer, or you see someone who prays well, or as I say, you read something and you go, my goodness, I'm still only at the beginning of this. For me, prayer is a surge of the heart, a simple look turned towards heaven. It is a cry of recognition and of love, embracing both trial and joy. That's St. Therese of Lisieux. Prayer is a surge of the heart. What a lovely idea. It's like this. So again, it's not duty that doesn't have to be done. It's not this kind of keep God happy or anything. It's this surge of the heart, a simple look towards heaven. It is the cry of recognition and of love, embracing both trial and joy. St. John Vianney then says, Prayer is the inner bath of love into which the soul plunges itself. It's just a class idea. Again, it's such a renewal of our understanding of prayer. Rather than it's the thing I have to do, it's this, like, just I plunge my soul into God and allow Him to love me, and then just allow my heart to love Him as He deserves to be loved. And we're just taken into this exchange of love. St. Francis de Sales says, everyone needs a half an hour of prayer each day, except when they're really busy. If they're really busy, then they need a full hour. I love St. Francis de Sales. He's class. He's class. It's the same, Mother Teresa gave the same advice to her sisters, actually. The same sister, Mother Teresa, whatever they called her, I suppose, Mother. Our days are so busy. There are so many people to help out here. Like, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough time to pray. She said, really? You don't have enough time? And she increased the prayer time. Because she said, look, without prayer, you don't have the strength to do what you're called to do. Without prayer, you don't have the strength to do it. We saw it as well. One of our Russian missions, some of the seminarians went over for a summer, and they were flat out, visiting homes and visiting families, and then there's a bit of gardening and housework and all this kind of stuff. And then, like, they have various moments of prayer throughout the day that we normally do, and they just said, look, it's not. We can't get everything done. We can't get everything that we need to get done with all of this prayer going on. It just keeps interrupting the day, because you have to come back to the house, and you're there for the holy hour or whatever it is. You're there for the 3 to 4, or then 7 to 8 in the evening, or 6 to 7 in the morning, whatever it may be. And they realized then, after a couple of months of the summer mission there, they said, my goodness, if we stopped praying, we wouldn't last a week here. If we stopped praying, like, you wouldn't last a week. They said it's tough going. It's tough. You see a lot of sadness. You see a lot of depravity. So, yeah, without prayer, you wouldn't stand a chance. So St. Francis de Sales says everyone needs to pray half an hour each day, except when you're busy. Then you need a full hour. So it's this idea that I see that prayer isn't like the thing that we have to do, a duty in order to keep God happy, but it's like our fuel. It's like it's like this, pardon the image, this umbilical cord, like, that attaches us to God, and then passes to us the nutrients that we need for our mission, for our day, that I can love those I'm called to love how I'm called to love them. Where am I going to get that? From me? That has to come from God. That has to come from God. So, and that's how we stay connected. So we just plunge ourselves into God. Now, I don't know. I only know. I don't know how your heads work. I kind of know how my head works. It kind of surprises me sometimes as well. But I have a good imagination. I also get easily distracted because I have a good imagination, so I can wander off. But it does help me to imagine these kind of things. To imagine prayer in that sense, like St. John Vianney says, plunging yourself into God, as opposed to, being so kind of focused on the physical things around you. I'm in the chapel, I can feel my knees, my right knee kind of hurts. It's probably yesterday due to soccer. And then you hear the door slam. Oh, I know who's in the chapel now. They always slam the door, and they always go to the right hand side. And then Katie has new perfume. and then the first song starts, D strings out of tune. Will they spot it? They're not going to spot it, are they? They're not going to spot it. And so exteriorly, this is what you see. Interiorly, sorry, that's my head. Like, I'm sorry. There's just so much going on, so much going on. And then I say, hold on, okay. Plunge yourself into God. Just plunge yourself into God. And then you just, I don't know. That's how I imagine it then. Just run and jump and dive and just be surrounded then by that love of God. How long that takes, I don't know. What you do when you're in there, I don't really know. Let yourself be loved. In prayer, let yourself be loved. That's so beyond this understanding of prayer as a duty, or just as ticking the box, obeying the rule. It's giving our hearts to God and letting him give his heart to us. It's loving God and accepting his love. So in our prayer today, whenever that is for you all, or for you watching at home, try that. Try this, the wisdom of the saints here, from what Saint Teresa of Lisieux says, the simple look turned towards heaven, a cry of recognition and of love, which embraces both trial and joy, very realistic there. It's the inner bath of love into which the soul plunges itself, as St. John Vianney says. And then when we're busy, to make sure, absolutely sure, that prayer is our priority above everything else. We ask the Lord today and in this season of Lent to renew our prayer lives and draw us ever closer to his heart in this ocean of love. Amen.